Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Vintown, the Vintown Mariners podcast, the number one podcast based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That is about the Mariners. I said that totally right. That's totally how I meant to say it. I'm trying something new today. I'm doing a video portion. A lot of people get their podcasts that way, and I figured, why not? I have the technology. I can do that. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to try to have some stuff on the screen instead of just my face. No offense to people who do that. I think that's very admirable. I do not like looking at the camera. I do not like looking at myself, uh, despite, being okay looking. I just don't like to do it. So I just would prefer to have other things to look at. So I'm going to try and show you some stats or whatever it is I'm talking about. Maybe I'll get better at this as it goes on, but I'm just going to do it live, and we'll see. But if you're just a listener, thanks for listening. But yeah, it's halfway of the Mariners season. I mean, not really halfway, but that's what we call it. It's the All-Star break, first long break that these players get. This particular team, I think it's going to be great for them to be off for this long, honestly. Like Ty France, you should be a drive line this whole time. You should be figuring out Mitch Haniger. You should be in a hyperbaric chamber trying to get your body fixed. Julio just like probably was at the ballpark every day hitting. Cal just ice those knees, whatever, etc. The pitchers, you know Logan and Andres Munoz were both all stars, but they didn't pitch, so you know they're in like a good spot rest wise. Big series coming up this week, but I'm not going to talk about that now. I'm going to talk about just some random halfway point stuff and some halfway point like statistics. One thing I want to talk about is like the Mariners' hitting approach. They get a lot of grief for their hitting approach. Everyone's like, they don't swing enough, they don't do this, they don't do that, which some of it is correct. So I pulled up the StatCast hitting stats. Their hard hit percent, I've been over this before, but their hard hit percent is top 3 in baseball, top 7% of all teams. Amazing. Exit velocity is not quite as high, but it's still very good. Still top 5. But the thing here is the events aren't as much as other teams. They don't, like, percentage wise, they do it among the best teams, but they don't do it enough. They don't do it nearly enough. So one thing I want to look at is like their plate discipline here on Statcast. The Mariners, their whole plan is swing at pitchers in zone, don't chase pitches outside the zone, get a good pitch to hit and hit it. That's a good plan. If you get a walk, you get a walk. That's a good plan. That's how a lot of teams have succeeded over the years. Let's see how they're actually executing that. Their zone swing percentage, they're roughly average 67.7%. League average is 67.4. I think they need to swing at pitches in the zone more. If that's their thing, if that's their goal, their stated goal, then they need to be in the 70% range. It's only a few more swings, but it makes a huge difference. How many times have you seen the Mariners just like take the pitch that you've been waiting for? They've been waiting for their whole at bat. They just take it. And I'm not sure why that is, if it's just like they guessed wrong or they read it off the hand wrong. You can't know those things. But it does seem to happen to them a lot. This stat kind of bears that out. Like again, they're average, but if this is your whole team stated goal, you shouldn't be average. You should be above average at it. And then making matters worse, there's zone contact percentage, which is when you swing and you make contact with a ball in the strike zone, is the worst in the league. And that's like a major problem. And that goes to strikeouts. That goes to all of that. But that's really bad that they're that bad. The chase percentage, that's swinging at balls outside the zone, They're bottom four. They're right there with the Brewers, Dodgers, Yankees. They're fourth best in the league in that, at not chasing. But those other three teams are much better offensively. So there's something being lost here. There's something being lost in translation with this offense. But then another stat, meatball percentage. That's the pitch that you want to hit. That's the pitches that batters dream of. The Mariners swing 80% of the time. That's the fifth best in baseball. Average is 77. Most teams are going to swing at these, but like of their stated goal of what they want this team to do, like they're doing the right thing there. They're making the zone, but they're not making the contact when it's in the zone. They're not chasing. They're hitting the balls that they can crush, but other balls in the zone they're just not doing anything with. And I think that goes a lot to the strikeouts, like they're missing. But I don't know. I really don't. And then you look at their batted ball profile, and the best thing to do in baseball is pull the ball. They're above average. They're 40%. 40% of balls pulled, 38.5 average, but they're sixth in baseball. Like that's good. That's what their goal is. But for some reason it's not translating. Barrel percentage, they're right near the top with all elite offenses. Yankees, Braves, Orioles, Mets. The Mets have been so hot. They don't seem like they fit, but they do. The A's also don't seem like they fit, but they do. They're the only team to score like 18 runs multiple times this year. It's wild. Dodgers, and then the Mariners. Uh, and then launch angle, I don't really know what this one means, but they're about middle of the field. But I don't think that's where they want to be. Um, their line drive percentage is not great. But back to what I said about pulling the ball. So let's look at Statcast. Or let's look at Fangraphs, okay? Fangraphs. You can pull up on pulled balls. Look at every team here. The worst hitting team, the Marlins, have a 119 WRC plus against pulled baseballs. Mariners 180, that's 11th. But if you look at the plate appearances, they're right near the bottom. So like they're doing the right thing when they hit the ball. They really are. They just don't hit the ball enough. That is striking out way too much. And like what is that? Is that just a talent thing? Is it a bad approach thing? It's definitely not a coaching thing. Anyone who thinks that's a coaching thing is a fool. But then, the whole thing with the Mariners, where they said, "Oh, the goal of this year's team is to cut down strikeouts." I mean, that was a lie. You shouldn't have believed that. But a lot of these strikeouts, I don't know. I really don't know about these strikeouts. Uh, Jorge Polanco. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Let's look at his career. 2019, 16%, 15% 2020, 18, 21, 25, 32. Like he's been trending that way for a while, just like the entire league has been. But like, should the Mariners have seen that coming? Or is that still something that's going to change when whatever? He's not been great. He's really not been great. I don't know what the solution is. I don't think it's Ryan Bliss because go back to this list, Ryan Bliss is right there with him 30% of the time striking out. Yes, the 92 WRC plus is better. Yes, the speed is better. The defense is better. But I think Polanco probably still has some upside, maybe. Or you have to see if it's there. And while Ryan Bliss, might be who he is right now. Like he might not be major league ready right now. So yeah, like it really is striking out. Like people who, dads who complain about baseball and like are like it's not like it used to be. These guys strike out too much. And they're right. Like they don't need WRC plus. They don't need anything. Like it's right there. They strike out so much. The whole league strikes out too much. But for to be carrying so many guys above the league average of strikeouts, let's look at the league average strikeouts. The league average is 22.3 right now. 22.3. So then you look at the Mariners, and the only regular player below average is Josh Rojas. Even Julio or JP Crawford, 22.4%. So even him is, 0.1% above average, but still above average. Every single hitter in the lineup is above average. And that's not good. And that's probably where they have to figure out their fix. I'm not going to get into like names this time because what's the point right now? Like I really held off on recording the last 2 days because I thought, oh my god, maybe they are going to add a name. Maybe they're going to bring somebody in. And how naive was I? No one's making moves right now. Jerry DePoto did an interview today, and he said there's not the opportunity for something dynamic this year, which is a weird thing to say because it's early. Like, and also like, what do you mean dynamic? Like, you haven't done anything dynamic. Do you think bringing in Josh Rojas and Dominic Canzone, like that was like a dynamic move? Like you pissed off your team by trading the closer. And the year before that, like they brought in guys, but they didn't bring in like movers. They didn't bring in guys who would change the whole thing. I mean Castillo, that trade, but uh, I guess that was a dynamic move. But the way he acts, like this is the first time I haven't seen a dynamic move be available, and it's like you've made one dynamic move in your like whole deadline career. So you're talking about like what other teams are doing, and you want to do it now, but you can't. Uh, I mean, whatever. I don't want to overthink it because he's being silly. Anyway, but yeah, it's their improvement is going to start with cutting down on strikeouts. Um, if in the hypothetical world where they make no moves, I can see improvement coming simply because uh, guys stop doing that so much. Is it likely? I don't know. Just to like kind of jump around a little bit, I want to talk about home stats really quick because every team in baseball will have home road splits, and usually hitters play better. Like almost everybody plays better. But I saw this one and it really blew my mind. Mitch Haniger has a 124 WRC plus at home. WRC plus, by the way, is like the easiest stat. That's the best stat. Like I couldn't compute it right now. I don't know how to do that. But it makes it so every hitter is on an even plane, and 100 is average, and 124 is 24% better than average. It's the easiest stat to understand in the world. I don't understand why people are sometimes like, "Oh, the Mariners, they love WRC plus." Yeah, everyone should. It's very easy to digest, extremely easy to digest. Like, do I care that? Uh, do I care that what someone's batting? Like, I care what. Do I care that Mitch Haniger is or Ty France is hitting 245 at home, but the league average batting average is 243? Like 245 sounds bad to me. Like when I was a kid, that was not good, but I care about it what it is in relation to the league. Anyway, but Mitch Haniger, like this is like crazy. 124 WRC plus at home and a 33 WRC plus on the road. He's hitting 160 on the road. Only 2 home runs, 240 slugging. Like every bad thing that you think about Mitch Haniger is strictly based on how he's played on the road. Or maybe not strictly, but if you just looked at the overall stats, if he only played at home, instead of a lefty righty platoon, they had a home road split, like he would be a pretty solid contributor. Like we would be praising him. Uh, it's just kind of funny. It makes me go back to almost where I was thinking, like, okay, Mitch is done. Okay, maybe he's not done. But like seeing that 33, I feel like he's done. But then you see the 124, and it's like, man, that's fine. If that was what he was, if that was even close to what he was, it would be amazing. It would be so amazing. And maybe that's higher because some of those early home runs and whatever. I'm sure I could look at it. Yeah, let's try this May 1st. Let's try May 1st to now. Mitch Haniger, 72. So, like, you had that amazing first month, and it's carrying him this much. His home, he had that amazing first month at home, and it's been carrying him this much. That's really wild. But Luke Raley has hit really well since May 1st, 121. WRC plus at home. Julio hits better at home, has hit better, not that first month. Everyone, the offense is pretty decent. The thing with the Teoscar Hernandez coming out and saying that the batter's eye at T-Mobile Park is uneven and he had a hard time hitting there, and that's been going on since it opened. Hitters have always disliked playing there, but like the thing about that, I wonder is, are there batters who like go up to the plate and they look at the pitcher and that's it, and they can just see like the ball coming off the hand, and that's it. And then there's other people who has kind of like a wider view, like they see the whole field, uh, and like something like the wall being different than it is in other stadiums can really throw them off. Like so many hitters have not really had that problem. You know, the Griffeys, Alex Rodriguez played there, Edgar, Ichiro. You know, they're never like, oh, this batting eye is so bad. Like, yeah, they're elite hitters, but are they also just elite hitters because they lock in on the thing that matters? You know, like the pitcher, the ball, not like if the ground's uneven or something like that. I mean, I can see how that would mess you up, but I don't know. Just kind of interesting to me. I have talked before about a lot of guys in the Mariners underperforming their expected numbers. I think some of that can be tied to the park, which, oh yeah, I did want to talk about that a little bit. In 2024, T-Mobile Park is the worst park to hit at. Park factor, the worst. Home run. Home runs, they are 20th. 96, that would be 4% below average. Triples are almost impossible. I mean, this is this year. Let's look at 2023. You know, like, yeah, you can say, oh, the Mariners offense stinks and the pitching is great, so of course this is going to be this way. Okay, well, last year, 31st, the worst. Okay, how about a year where they weren't that good? 2019, were they bad then? I can't remember. 2019, 96, 30th. Home runs were about average that year. That was from 20. Oh, these are 3-year rolling averages. So that was from 27 to 19. It was 96. So when I did 2024, that's from 2022 to 2024. Okay, let's do 2015. I don't know. Let's just pick random years. Boom. 2013 to 2015, 29th. Home runs were above average then. They had a little better home run hitters. The league was also a little different. 2010. I'm sure they were a great team in 2010. 94 park factor, 27th. 82 home runs, 18% below average for home runs. Singles even. Hits, 4% below average. This is not like a new thing. It's a forever thing. So many people say, oh, it's just an excuse. These teams just make an excuse. They're not. They're not. It's a hard place to hit. They benefit from it, from the pitching, but it's always going to be hard. It's always going to be hard, but they need to do better. They need to have real players who can do it. So, what's my overall point? I guess my overall point is they do need to improve the strikeouts. Is that getting rid of Ty France? Maybe, even though he's only at 24%. Is it Jorge Polanco going away? Maybe, but Luke Rayleigh, that's been one of their most valuable hitters, and he's striking out 32% of the time, and that's not going to change. As long as he's there, that's what he's going to do. And Cal Raleigh, probably their most valuable player this year, 33% of the time. Those are big numbers. But as always, the Mariners, the most important thing is Julio Rodriguez hitting better. I've talked about it before. His WOBA is 306. His xWOBA is 341. He's way underplaying it. He was close to even last year. 347 WOBA, 345 xWOBA. If he can get those back to 340, 340, like we're going to be doing pretty good. You know, his power is way down. His walks are slightly down. His strikeouts are quite just slightly up. You know, that might just be, a handful here and there. But if we're to believe Jerry Dipoto and there's nothing dynamic coming, there might not be a move on the offensive side. That would be absolutely insane to me, but it's a real possibility. It's a real possibility. And there's so many guys in the lineup who could be hitting better, who should be hitting better. I mean, Mitch Garver had a great June. He's been average-ish in July. But if he can be more like June, that can be something. If Julio, keeps on the path he's going, that could be something. Cal is really heating up. That could be something. Ty France, you got to figure it out, dude. You got to figure it out. I don't know what to say there, really. Mitch Haniger, I don't know. But if these guys are going to get playing time, Polanco as well, obviously. But if they're going to keep getting playing time, they have to start hitting the back of their baseball card. That old cyan. Because I don't know if there's the true improvement coming, which sucks. It should come. But I could really see this team being more focused on bullpen upgrades. As almost as silly as that sounds, but really look at the Mariners last week. The three very disappointing losses to the Angels. That might have not have happened with a better bullpen. I mean, it wouldn't have happened with a better offense, but it might not have happened with a better bullpen. So they're going to be looking there, and that's always a place where you can add, even when nobody's doing anything. We've already seen some names moved in that area. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of the direction they went. But yeah. Oh, one more thing about offense. I've been reading on my All-Star break here. I've been reading The MVP Machine by Ben Lindbergh and Travis Sawchek about using data to build better players. It's kind of an older book, or a few years older. Not much new stuff. I just had never read it, so I'm reading it. It's funny because there's a lot in it that's about Trevor Bauer, and it's I don't want to read about this guy that much. This guy sucks. Even the stuff that's interesting, sometimes I just find myself skipping because I'm I don't care about his life. There's one part in there where it says that he owned multiple condos in Seattle, and but he kept one for himself to live in to go to Driveline. And I was thinking, I'm going to Seattle in October. If I get an Airbnb, am I going to be renting from Trevor Bauer? I already hate Airbnb and landlords. I can't imagine giving money to Trevor Bauer on top of that. That would be just too much. But anyway, there's parts in the book, about the pitch shaping and the, learning the high-speed cameras and all the stuff. And they're the stuff they're doing with pitches and sliders, they're so far ahead of where hitters are. Hitters, there's stuff about hitters too, but when people are throwing these sliders that look the same as fastballs out of the hands and they fly right out, that's really hard to hit. That's why hitting is down across the league. And that's why I don't even know what the solution is ultimately going to be. I don't know. Even something as extreme as moving the mound back, wouldn't it just move more? I mean, I know it would slow it down a little bit, but wouldn't the ball just move more, and I don't know. But it's a decent book if you want to check it out. Just do what I do and skip the Trevor Bauer parts. Um, but yeah, drive lines in there. It does a lot of quotes from Depoto, which is funny. There's a part where Depoto when Trevor Bauer apparently close when the Diamondbacks drafted him. I don't know. It's kind of funny to think about. Um, yeah, but yeah. Ultimately, back to the Mariners. It's really hard to hit right now, and um, pitchers are really good, and that's why what I said at the beginning is they just gotta hit more, swing more at more balls in the zone. That's their plan. That's their game plan. So why aren't they executing it? I don't know. They're getting like an average amount of pitches in the zone, but they're swinging just not enough, not nearly enough. If that's their plan, they're not chasing. They're hitting the meatballs, but I think you swing more in the zone, you strike out less. You strike out less, make more contact. Things can happen. Things can happen. Things can be better. But Julio's going to stay hot the rest of the year. I know that. This is kind of some. This has kind of been kind of jumbled. Not my best episode, but just kind of all over the place on hitting and statistical philosophies and whatever else. Just to finish it out, though, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the standings. The Mariners have a one-game lead over the Astros, and the Astros are much hotter over the past month, past 2 months, whatever you want to call it. And it's scary. Fangraphs right now predicts the Astros to finish with one more win than the Mariners. They have a better run differential than the Mariners. They're the Astros. They're the boogeyman. But at the same time, let's look at the playoff odds. Playoff odds aren't that bad. The Mariners have a 56% chance to make the playoffs. They have a 46% chance to win the division, and the Astros have a 46.4% chance to win the division. So, yeah, this series is going to be pretty big. It's going to be pretty big. But I do think, right now it's the time when everyone's demanding more of this organization. They're like demanding more, and they're right. Like this Forbes list or something came out, or how much money they make and how much money they spend, and it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. They could add a player. They could spend some money to add a player. They could. They should. They need to. But not even to like defend them or to take their side, or I do think they have enough. I think it's close. I think I think it's real close, and maybe they need some luck, but they have the luck in the right spots. They have the better back end of the bullpen when Santos is healthy. Santos and Munoz is better than Josh Hader and whoever. I believe that. The rotation is night and day better. And if Julio and Cal play like they did this last week, that's going to carry a lot of the offense, and they're never going to match them in that category, but uh, they can live, you know, they can survive, and that's what Mariners baseball is all about. It's just about like surviving. Like, does that suck? Yeah, it does suck. It's annoying, but it's also like in a weird way why this is the team I like, because when I watch the game, it's usually a one-run game and they have a chance in the end and it's worth watching. Like when they won 11-2 or 11-0 or whatever, it's like I turned it off. It's like this isn't what I signed up for. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I wish they won every game by 11. I wish they just would win games. So yeah, that's it. I don't. I'm being kind of lost today. So thanks for checking it out. I'll be back with another one. Until then, go M's.